My name is Sarah, and I'm just an ordinary housewife. When I was young, my mother left because my father, Jack, who was always playing around. Since then, it's been just the two of us. I don't need to explain how tough it was to live as just a daughter and father. It might be the same for other families, but in our case, it was especially difficult. My father was I remember episodes from my childhood. When I was in elementary school, there was a parent-child slumber party, but my father was too busy playing around to come. So I had to ask my uncle to take his place. In middle school, when everyone else went on a school trip to Singapore, I had to stay home because my father said we couldn't afford it. In high school, during career counseling, while everyone else was with their parents, I was alone with a teacher because my father didn't show up. These are all awkward and painful memories for me. Despite these lonely days, my best friend Heather always encouraged me. She supported me when I felt isolated because of my father's neglect. Sometimes she would take me to Disneyland, and other times we'd go shopping in the mall. She too had a difficult family situation, which might be why we became such close friends. My life started to improve during my college years. That's when I met my current husband, Jason. Jason's parents ran a small business, and he grew up facing financial difficulties. Understanding his struggles, I supported him. He was always kind to me, and soon our friend Heather joined us in our outings. Looking back, those days were the happiest of my life. I never imagined that I would be in this situation at the age of 30. One day after finishing my chores, I was watching TV when Jason called.
Sorry, but I have to work overtime tonight, so I won't be able to come home.
You've worked overtime before, but this is the first time you won't be coming home.
Yeah, it's an important job, and I might not be able to come home for a few days.
Oh, I see. Well, if it's work, I understand. But it's unusual for you to not come home for several days. Feeling uneasy, I called Heather to vent my frustrations. That's the situation. I understand it's work, but staying out for days? How does he handle mornings and nights? He said he's using internet cafes? What do you think? But there's never been anything like this before. Doesn't it seem strange? It might be strange, but what can we do? It's Jason's situation after all. I suppose so, but this has never happened before. Doesn't it seem odd? Odd? Are you suggesting something? I have a suspicion that Jason might be seeing another woman. How could that be? Jason has always been devoted to you. Yes, but lately there have been things that make me suspicious. Like what? Well, he seemed unusually awkward when I mentioned something the other day. And then there's the sudden overtime, which I've never heard of before. It's clearly strange. It's probably just a misunderstanding. Maybe you're overthinking it. You're probably right. But now it's getting late. Sorry for taking up your time. Even after talking with Heather, I couldn't shake off my unease. Is Jason really working overtime, or is there something he can't tell me? Unable to stop worrying, I decided to follow him. But I had no idea which internet cafe he was staying at, so I waited until he came home. Jason didn't come home for 5 days. When he finally returned, I prepared to follow him when he went to work. I waited outside his company, disguised with a hat. After a while, Jason came out, and I quietly followed him. There was nothing suspicious. He was just heading home. But if he comes home and I'm not there, that would be suspicious. I hurried back home, taking a different route, and arrived before him. What a waste of effort.
I'm home. You look tired today.
Do I? I've been at home all day.
Sorry for being late these days. No more overtime from now on.
Oh, that's good. Take it easy. Even as I wondered what I was doing, I fell asleep that night. For about half a month, nothing unusual happened between Jason and me. But then, Jason mentioned overtime again. This time, I was determined to confirm it. The day of the supposed overtime arrived. I waited outside his company, disguised again. If he doesn't come out, it's fine. If he does, then it's not. After about 30 minutes, Jason came out, looking around nervously. He didn't head towards the station, but in the opposite direction, towards a quiet area. I still wasn't sure if he was meeting someone or just shopping or eating. But my faint hope in Jason was shattered. Jason started walking hand in hand with a woman. No way. The woman Jason was with, it was Heather. My best friend, Heather, the one who always supported me. I remember feeling like my world was crumbling. After that, I lost sight of them. The next thing I knew, I was sitting alone at home. I couldn't remember what happened before, maybe because it was too painful. Could it really be true? Heather and Jason? When Jason came home after his overtime, I had to pretend I didn't know anything. It was unbearable, pretending everything was normal. I was in deep despair. But then, Jason's parents, Brian and Susan, came over unexpectedly.
Sarah, thank you for always taking care of Jason.
No, it's I who should thank you for everything.
When will Jason be home? It's already 10 p.m.
My face stiffened as I tried to keep up appearances. It was Jason's overtime day, or rather, his affair day. I thought about consulting them about the affair, but then my phone rang, distracting me. Who could be calling at this hour? I don't usually get calls this late. I checked my phone and couldn't believe what I saw. Heather? Why is she calling at this time?
Sorry to bother you, but I'm feeling really unwell.
What should I do? Despite my anger towards her, I couldn't help but worry when she said she was unwell. Are you okay? What's wrong? I gave her advice, even though she had betrayed me. After the call, I felt exhausted. I put on a bright face and returned to Brian and Susan. Sorry for the interruption. It was a friend who wasn't feeling well.
Oh, I hope it's nothing serious.
No, it's nothing serious. I'm relieved. I wanted to say that their son wasn't okay, but I missed the chance to bring it up. I told Brian and Susan that Jason had been working overtime frequently lately. The next morning, they left after thanking me. Brian and Susan are good people, which makes the situation more complicated. What should I do about the affair? Jason is supposed to come home tonight, but how should I act? Just then, another unexpected call came in. Dad? It's been a while. How long has it been? 3 years? I guess it has been that long. My father and I had a strained relationship. With all these issues with Jason, his parents, and Heather, I was overwhelmed. I started to think maybe I should talk to my father about everything. Even though our relationship was strained, maybe he could help with the situation. So, I decided to tell him everything that had happened between Jason, Heather, and me. It was such a shocking story that even my usually nonchalant father was speechless.
I thought Jason was a good guy, but I can't believe this.
I can't believe it either. And to think the other woman is my best friend.
Heather? I've known her since she was a kid, and I can't believe it. So, what do you plan to do about Jason?
That's what I want to know. What should I do when he comes home tonight? Divorce seems like the obvious choice, but just cutting ties with Heather feels... My father, sensing my hesitation, began to speak.
How could Jason do such a thing? It's unforgivable. But the way he's treated you is even worse. Maybe you should wait and discuss it with me before making any decisions.
I agree. Divorce seems too simple for what he's done. After our heavy conversation, my father left, and I was alone again. Jason, unaware that I knew about the affair, came home that night as if nothing was wrong. Based on my conversation with my father, I decided to keep my emotions in check and act normal.
I'm home. Sorry for working late again.
You're not working late because you want to. I'm just grateful you're working for us.
I'm really lucky to have such an understanding wife.
Understanding? More like being taken advantage of. Little did he know, I was aware of everything. My calm demeanor made Jason feel safe, and he began to show his true colors. I wouldn't have predicted how things would unfold. And so began the nightmare of Jason's increasing arrogance and demands. A few months passed, and Jason's mask began to fall off. At first, it was small requests, like asking me to go to the convenience store for beer. But soon, outrageous, sending me out for errands in the middle of the night. If this were the past, I would have confided in Heather, but she was the one involved in the affair. My anger was about to explode. But I managed to hold on, thanks to my conversations with my father. Then one day, my father called with a suggestion. Hire a detective to gather evidence.
You can't let Jason continue getting away with this. You need proof.
You're right. I hadn't thought about investigating.
Leave it to me. If you do it, Jason might get suspicious.
Thank you. I appreciate it, even though we haven't been that close.
That's why I need to step up now.
My father eagerly took on the task, and the results were more than I could handle.
It's a tough situation, but I have to tell you, Jason and Heather have a child together.
What? A child?
Yes, and the baby was born just recently.
Heather mentioned feeling unwell before. Was that morning sickness?
I didn't know, but it makes sense. I'm so sorry you're going through this.
I already knew about the affair, so this isn't a huge surprise, but of course I was furious. Jason and I don't have children, but he had a child with Heather, my so-called friend. And he's been acting like nothing is wrong. It's beyond belief. How could I confront him about this? It gave me a headache just thinking about it. But Jason's arrogance didn't stop there. He knew I was aware of the affair, but my silence made him even bolder. Then one day, he came to me with a ridiculous proposal.
I need to ask you something.
What is it? Another late-night errand?
No, it's a wonderful proposal, filled with human kindness.
I had a bad feeling about it, and rightly so.
Let's have my parents, Brian and Susan, move in with us.
What?
It's already decided. You'll be the housekeeper.
Housekeeper? This is too much. But Jason's madness didn't stop there.
We need to prepare things for them and make the house barrier-free.
I had reached my limit. I confronted Jason about everything. And don't forget the baby supplies. You're bringing the child to live with us, right?
What? You knew?
Of course I knew about Heather.
Why didn't you say anything sooner? My parents are old. They deserve to see their grandchild. Since you can't have children, it works out perfectly.
I was stunned by his audacity. There was no way I could continue living with this man. I had planned to keep quiet until my father and I had everything ready. But I couldn't take it anymore, so I packed my things and left. I moved in with my father.
Oh, what a mess. I can't believe Jason turned out to be like this.
I'm sorry, Dad, for disrupting your plans and coming to stay with you.
It's not your fault. You've done well to endure this much. Let's move forward with our plan against Jason.
Thank you, Dad. The next day, Jason was in for the worst nightmare of his life. Jason had everything ready, waiting for Brian and Susan to move in. But when they arrived, they were furious.
You've ruined everything.
How could you do this to us?
I don't understand. What are you talking about?
My father was the biggest client of Jason's family business. But after discovering Jason's actions, my father decided to cut all ties. The plan my father and I had been preparing for involved cutting off Jason's family's business. It took time to prepare, but once it was ready, we executed the plan. My father's casual mention of ungratefulness wasn't just talk. My father is a CEO of a major company, known for his wealth and influence. However, his lavish lifestyle and numerous mistresses led my mother to leave him, leaving just the two of us. Living as a daughter with a famous father wasn't easy. During elementary school races, my father was often in Las Vegas instead of by my side. In middle school, I missed the Singapore trip because my father promised me a Mediterranean vacation if I studied at home. In high school, while everyone had their parents at career counseling, my father was absent, leaving me alone with a teacher. These experiences made my relationship with my father complicated. But because of his business ties with Jason's family, I thought he might help with the affair situation. When I explained everything to him, my father quickly took my side. Jason's arrogance had limits, and my father decided to teach him a lesson. Heather, who seemed to be my friend, probably only stuck around because we were wealthy. Jason, on the other hand, saw me as a potential asset due to my father's connections. I showed Jason understanding because of his struggles, but he only saw me as a way to secure his future. When Brian and Susan came to my father, begging him to reconsider, he refused. My father knew how much they had relied on him, and he was determined to cut ties. Not long after, Brian and Susan's company went bankrupt. Jason, who worked at their small business, also lost his job. Jason, who was once so arrogant, was left with nothing.
Don't worry about Brian and Susan. I hired them as part-time workers at my company.
Meanwhile, Jason lost everything, including Heather and their child, who fled.
It's true that bad deeds catch up with you.
Yes, and it's important to live honestly. And Dad, I hope you've learned from your past.
I've slowed down now that I'm older, but I'll keep your advice in mind.
I moved out of my father's house and into a small apartment I rented. I joined a marriage agency, looking for a decent man this time.